All right, my dear student, welcome back to your French language course online. Je m'appelle Chidi. In this lesson, we are going to really begin working on Unit 2. We're going to start with the cultural context. The first activity we're looking at is faire la bise. Faire la bise. Faire is the verb to do or to make. La bise. So in other words, you can simply say le bisou or la bise. So take a moment to read this section. What it's all about is the cultural aspect of greeting. For French people, when they are greeting you or when they're greeting people, there are certain things that you do depending on the relationship between you and the person you are greeting. If you're greeting a complete stranger, you can do things such as handshake. You can have a handshake with the person. Or you can wave or those kind of things, depending on the relationship, depending on how far away the person is from you. But when you are greeting somebody that you know, your brother, your sister, your mother, your father, a family member, a friend, where there is an existing acquaintance, so you can accompany greeting with faire la bise. So what I did, you can actually do that, but you can go to YouTube and search for faire la bise. You're going to have more explanations available. You're going to have some examples. And actually I did that. If I hit web here on this software and then I play this, let's see the explanation given here.
So these are the rules of doing la bise. Step 1, make eye contact. Step 2, take a step forward. Not too close, and not too far away. About this distance. Step 3, put your hand on their arm or their upper shoulder.
Okay, I'm going to go with arm.
And then you move in, applying your cheek to their cheek and making a little kissing noise. Now, in Paris, you start on the left and then you do 2 kisses.
That's really important to know which side.
Or else you get into one of these and you don't want to get into one of those. Very important thing, never really kiss the cheek.
Because that's over.
It's gross. And you also have to make a kissing noise because or else it just sounds empty. So, once again. And voila.
Perfect.
And don't forget, practice makes perfect.
Well, that is faire la bise. So you can do that with your friends. When you're really, really familiar with people, you have acquaintance with them, you can faire la bise when you greet them. You can also look on YouTube to get more materials on this and some other cultural aspects of greeting. So I just wiped off so that we can reuse the space. Now, here, mini vocabulaire. This is vocabulary. In the next section where we're going to be going into communications, learning objective, we're going to need some words, okay? So that's part of why you have this vocabulary here. Let's just go through how to say these words, but also what they mean. If you look on the second column, you can see that they are already translated in English, so which is okay. And then, so let's go through how to say them. Quand. So you remember how we studied the nasal sounds. So you are doing something like quand. Okay, the D is silent. You have AN in the final position, more or less, and so it becomes quand. Faire la connaissance. So you can see what happens here. Connaissance. So in this word connaissance, there's a few things to note. You see the O, how it is pronounced. O can be pronounced as O or O, depending on where they are in a word, depending on what word it is. So here, connaissance. And then you can see the next item, AI. AI is pronounced as connaissance. And then you have our AN, sens. Quelqu'un. Se présenter. Good. So we saw with the accent aigu that accent aigu is pronounced as A. Another sound that can give you A is ER. When you have ER at the end of which it's usually the infinitive of verbs, you know. Yeah. Then it's A. Présenter. See? Here you see the EN. Présenter. Se serrer la main. Here you see la main. So, main. Nasal sound. Se serrer la main. AIN. To give you that nasal sound that we learned before. Bonjour. Comment t'appelles-tu? Comment vous appelez-vous? All right, let's take a look at this. Comment vous appelez-vous and comment t'appelles-tu are saying exactly the same thing. The only difference is that we are using the pronoun vous here, whereas we're using the pronoun tu here. Both of them mean you, you know, but tu is familiar and informal, whereas vous is formal, but also plural. Formal and plural. Plural is more than one person. So, comment vous appelez-vous may be a way to ask many people their names. It may also be a way to ask one individual who is a stranger, who is not related to you, or somebody in a position like a teacher or a doctor and those kind of things. Je m'appelle. We know that already. Je m'appelle, and you put your name. Enchanté. Enchanté, when you meet somebody after the introduction, you say enchanté. If you are a man, you don't use the E here. If you are a woman, then you add that extra E. So if you're a woman, you say enchanté. Whereas a man will write it with one E. We will learn more about all these gender things coming in the future. Présentez-vous, which means introduce yourself, present yourself. À côté de vous, beside you, next to you. So, because we're expecting that you will be in a classroom with this and you'll be able to introduce yourself to somebody à côté de vous, a student next to you, so that you can anticipate that kind of a context when we really start working on this. So now I'm going to go to the next page so that we can begin to pursue the communication objective of this course, of this unit. There is a dialogue here between two individuals, Marie and Marc. So through that dialogue, we are going to focus on how they greet each other, what they say to each other, so that we can learn that and apply that to target our communication objective. Bonjour. Bonjour means good day or hello. Dans cette section, nous pratiquons les dialogues et les gestes quand on fait la connaissance de quelqu'un. So, dans cette section, set here, this. Dans cette, in this section, nous pratiquons, we are going to practice les dialogues et les gestes and gestures and movements quand on fait la connaissance, when you meet somebody. So the expression you remember from the previous page, faire la connaissance de quelqu'un, to meet somebody. Faire la connaissance de quelqu'un, to meet somebody. So now you can conjugate the verb faire. So we're going to practice dialogue and movements when associated with when you meeting someone. Quelqu'un, someone, somebody. Quand on fait la connaissance de quelqu'un, on se présente. So, on the présentation, introduction. When on fait la connaissance de quelqu'un, when you meet somebody, or when you are meeting somebody, when one is meeting somebody, or when we meet somebody, we introduce ourselves. On se présente. In other words, you can say, je me présente. I introduce myself. Je me présente. Je m'appelle Chidigwe. All right. I introduce myself. My name is Chidigwe. On se présente. Je me présente. All right. So now, let's see how they introduce themselves. Marie says, Bonjour, monsieur. Monsieur, sir, or Mr. And Mark says, Bonjour, mademoiselle. Mademoiselle, miss. Comment t'appelles-tu? What is your name? Okay, now let's practice it one more time. Bonjour, monsieur. Bonjour, mademoiselle. Comment t'appelles-tu? Je m'appelle Marie. Et toi? Je m'appelle Marc. Enchanté. Enchanté. So you see? Hello, sir. Hello, miss. What is your name? My name is Mary, and you? My name is Mark. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Each person writes their own depending on whether they are male or female. For Marie, she writes with an E. Now, the thing is, when you speak this, you may not see that there is any pronunciation difference. There is none between enchanté said by a man and enchanté said by a woman. But when you write, you have to add that extra E for a woman. So now, here is what you are going to do. Assume that you have somebody beside you. Prepare a dialogue like this that you are going to use to meet and introduce yourself to the person. Présentez-vous à deux personnes à côté de vous. Okay, introduce yourself to two people next to you or beside you. Serrez-vous la main. Okay, make sure to have a handshake. Have a handshake. Serrez-vous la main. Have a handshake. All right, so you know what to do now. Bonjour, monsieur. Bonjour, mademoiselle. Comment t'appelles-tu? Je m'appelle Marie, et toi? Je m'appelle Marc. Enchanté. Enchanté. Merci.